If you've ever put even a single dollar in a piggy bank, you're part of one of the oldest human stories there is, the story of saving. But have you ever stopped to think about what makes that dollar, or any money for that matter, actually hold its value? Well, today, we're going to go on a little journey through history to understand the real nature of money. And believe me, it's a lesson every single saver needs to hear.
I know, it sounds like the beginning of a bad joke, right? But the answer to this question gets to the absolute heart of what makes good money good. And by the end of this, you are going to see the incredible connection between a 4-ton rock and a simple line of code. So to answer that riddle, we got to go way back. I mean, way back to the basics. Before we had cash or coins, we just had stuff. And we traded that stuff directly. We call it barter. But as you're about to see, it was a whole lot messier than it sounds. Yeah, barter breaks down because of what's called the problem of coincidence of wants. It's a fancy term, but it's simple. It's not just about finding someone who wants what you have, they also have to have exactly what you want in the right amounts at the right time. Think about it. You can't trade a shoelace for a sip of coffee, right? Or try saving up a pile of bananas to buy a car. They'll be rotten long before you get there. Barter just doesn't work for a complex world.
So humanity came up with this brilliant workaround. Instead of trading our stuff for other stuff, we decided to trade our stuff for one intermediary thing, something everyone just agreed had value. And that one single, widely accepted good, well, that's what we call money. It was a total game changer. Okay, so problem solved, right? We invented money. But not so fast. Our ancestors figured out pretty quickly that not all money is created equal. Some types of money are great at holding their value, protecting your savings for the future, and other kinds, they just seem to melt away like ice cream on a hot day. This brings us to the secret of hard money. The whole difference boils down to one simple idea: hardness. Hard money is, well, hard to make more of. Think about all the work that goes into mining gold. Easy money is the total opposite. Its supply can be expanded with almost no effort. Think about picking up seashells on a beach. And this distinction, it is absolutely everything when it comes to saving your wealth.
And you know what's cool? We can actually measure this hardness. The metric is called the stock-to-flow ratio. All you do is take the total amount of something that already exists, that's the stock, and you divide it by how much new stuff is made each year, that's the flow. A really high number means you've got hard money, and that's what you want for a store of value.
Look, theory is great and all, but history gives us the best lessons. So now we're going to look at two true stories that perfectly show what happens when a society uses hard money and the chaos that follows when that money suddenly becomes easy.
First up, let's head to the Pacific island of Yap. For hundreds of years, their money was these things called rhinestones, huge, massive limestone discs. Get this, they had to be carved on a different island and then hauled back on these tiny canoes. The sheer difficulty meant the new supply, the flow, was always microscopic compared to the existing stock. This was some of the hardest money in human history. But then, in 1871, everything changed. An outsider, an Irish-American captain, showed up, and he brought modern tools and dynamite. He started blasting out huge new stones with almost no effort, flooding the island with them. He completely collapsed the stock-to-flow ratio. In an instant, the Yapese hard money became easy money, and poof, its value was gone.
And this is the crucial takeaway. One of the Yapese chiefs saw exactly what was happening. He knew those easily made stones were worthless. He understood a truth that echoes through time. Money that's easy to make doesn't make a society richer. It just destroys real wealth. Now, if you think that story's wild, let's look at an even more tragic example. In parts of West Africa, certain rare glass beads were a form of money because they were difficult to make locally. But when European traders arrived, they came with ships full of cheap, mass-produced beads. For decades, they traded these worthless, easy money trinkets for Africa's real wealth, its resources and labor. They literally drained the wealth of a continent. You see, these stories from Yap and West Africa, they're not just some historical oddities. They reveal a fundamental law of economics, a trap that has caught civilizations over and over and over again. It's called the easy money trap. And here's the trap, laid out plain and simple. The second people start using something to save their wealth, someone else is going to try to make more of it to get that wealth.
And if it's easy to make more of, the supply explodes, the value crashes, and the people who were saving get completely wiped out. History is just brutal on this point.
And if you think this only happens to remote islands, think again. The Roman Empire, the most powerful civilization of its time, fell right into this trap. To pay for wars and lavish spending, emperors started debasing their coins, mixing in cheaper metals, reducing the amount of real gold and silver. They were literally making their money easier and cheaper to produce.
And here's the scary part. It wasn't a sudden collapse. It was a long, slow, grinding rot from the inside out. As the money became worth less and less, people lost trust. Savings vanished, trade dried up, and the economic glue holding the entire empire together just dissolved.
So this age-old quest, the search for something to store value in that can't just be easily copied or inflated away, has been a major driver of human history. It took us from stones to beads to precious metals, and now it's taking us into the digital world.
For thousands of years, one thing stood above all the rest: gold. Why gold? Well, it has some unique chemical properties. It's basically indestructible. Nearly all the gold ever mined is still around, and you can't just whip it up in a lab. Because of that, the existing stock is massive compared to the tiny new flow from mining each year. Gold was the ultimate solution to the easy money trap for centuries. But the digital age created a brand new problem. In the digital world, anything can be copied perfectly and for free. Copy-paste, right? Well, that was true until 2009. The invention of Bitcoin was a breakthrough because it created something for the very first time: true, provable, absolute digital scarcity. It was engineered from the ground up to be hard money for an internet-native world. So let's actually put them head-to-head for a second. You can see how Bitcoin was designed to take the properties that made gold so special and then improve on them for the digital age. Gold is scarce, sure, but Bitcoin's supply is absolutely finite. There will only ever be 21 million. Gold is a pain to move around. Bitcoin is just information that can move at the speed of light. It's a fascinating comparison.
And all of this brings us right back to you, to your work, your effort, and your savings. Every dollar you manage to set aside is a little piece of your life, a token of your time and energy. The long, incredible story of hard money, from giant stones on Yap to digital code, isn't just a history lesson. It's a survival guide for your wealth. So the real question for all of us today is, in a world that makes it so easy to create money out of thin air, how are you going to protect the value of your time?